What's up, everyone? Episode 6 of WandaVision just dropped on Disney Plus today, so I figured I would talk about it and review it. One quick disclaimer, this video will contain spoilers for pretty much the entire series so far of WandaVision. So don't watch if you haven't finished it yet. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's a big help. Anyways, let's get into it. Alright, so I'm going to try to quickly recap the episode and what happened throughout it. So this episode is set in the 90s, as every episode has seemed to advance a decade-ish. This episode is kind of 90s, early 2000s. And the plot of this episode is really centered around Vision's suspicions of Wanda, and he's slowly becoming self-aware of what's happening in Westview. And after the opening scene, it cuts to the SWORD team and Monica Rambeau and the leader of the SWORD team, I don't remember his name, and they're arguing over what they should do with this situation. And really, the main bad guy, I guess you could call him so far, he thinks Wanda's the villain, and Monica Rambeau believes in Wanda and she has faith in Wanda and she wants to kind of go help her and figure out what's wrong with her. So they were kind of having a disagreement, and I believe the leader kicked Monica Rambeau off the team. Throughout this episode, as from last week's cliffhanger, Quicksilver is in this episode. To what extent of him being Quicksilver remains to be seen. He was in here, he had his powers. Obviously, Wanda could be manipulating what we're seeing. Someone could be manipulating what we're seeing. I don't know if he's actually Quicksilver or not. But it's cool that Evan Peters is back as Quicksilver. And Monica Rambeau and her team, they form a plan to go into Westview, and she's going to help Wanda. Like I mentioned, she's going to try to help her and figure out what's wrong with her. So they come up with that plan. Meanwhile, this episode takes place on Halloween night, and so really Wanda and the family are going trick-or-treating. And Vision he's wandering around, and he keeps seeing people that are like frozen, like trick-or-treaters are just sitting there like not moving. So that was kind of like suspicious as to what's happening. I'll get more on that later. So then he finds Agnes frozen in her car, or she's just not doing anything. Then she says something to him, and then he like fixes her or like unhypnotizes her. And then she starts kind of like begging for help, asking Vision to help her. And she's calling Vision an Avenger, but obviously Vision doesn't know who he actually is. Anyways, so then after they talk for a little while, Vision fixes her and then she drives off. There's another weird scene where Wanda and Quicksilver are talking, and he seems to be aware of everything that's happening within Westview. Like, he knows Vision's dead, and he knows a lot more than Vision knows or any of the residents know. So that was kind of weird as to why that's happening. And then really the finale end of the episode is Vision. He's trying to escape Westview because once again he's slowly becoming aware of what's happening. And as he does, a whole bunch of agents surround him as he's coming out. Wanda finds out, I think one of her kids told her that he was escaping. So she starts expanding the force field around Westview, which puts Vision back in Westview, as well as it covers a lot of the entire agent team that's investigating, most of the SWORD team, as well as Darcy Lewis. She got sucked in as well. So that was an interesting and cool end to the episode. It really showed off how powerful Wanda is and really teased her being the villain. I still don't think she's the villain, but they're really trying to push that. She had like red eyes and everything. They really want to push this idea that she's the villain. It was a good scene. It feels like the show's kind of getting somewhere, that it has an end goal and it's getting there, and it feels like we're really, on the highway, and we're getting towards the ending, and I'm glad about that. Hopefully the show will have a solid ending. So overall, for the most part, I did enjoy this episode. I mentioned it last week, but they should have been showing both plots with Wanda and the sitcom and everything, and the SWORD team with Monica Rambeau and stuff. They should have been showing both those plots since episode 1. I think that would have improved those first 2 episodes, and really just the entire show would have been improved if we're slowly getting details from each plot rather than what they did. But I'm glad from now on it seems like this is going to be the format that we're getting it in, so that's pretty nice. And overall, I feel like this format of the episode where we're getting the 2 plot lines, it kind of adds the tension as we're slowly getting details from both plots. And it just makes episodes more watchable and more entertaining for me. I believe that's the way this show should be. As I mentioned, it's really cool that Quicksilver's back and he's actually doing stuff, and it doesn't seem like it's just a cameo. It seems like Evan Peters is actually playing Quicksilver for the time being. As I mentioned, I'm intrigued by the fact that he's aware of everything that's going on, or he's aware of a lot what's going on. That's kind of intriguing. And I'm not sure why he knows everything. I was thinking that maybe he's like some extent of like Wanda created him, and so he kind of has the same mind as Wanda. I don't know why that would be the case, but that's just an idea. I really enjoyed the late 90s, early 2000s episode theme, as it's one that I can relate to. Obviously, I'm young, so I didn't get all the 80s, 70s, 60s references, as I've never seen any of the sitcoms or shows that it was trying to pay homage to. I clearly got the like Malcolm in the Middle reference with the theme song and the end opening with the kids. I thought that was awesome. It was super nostalgic. And in the whole episode, they really did a great job at just capturing this this vibe of that era, the late 90s, early 2000s. And I thought that was really cool. For me personally, the themes for this episode of like the set and everything, this was my personal favorite. I really enjoyed it. It was super nostalgic. And I even thought like they've been doing the commercial throughout every episode, and this was the only one that I remotely enjoyed and I got because I grew up watching commercials like that on Nickelodeon stuff, so that was pretty cool as well. And it's good to see that the plot is getting much more intense as we're approaching the finale. I think there's 2 to 3 episodes left. With Wanda extending the bubble around Westview and sucking in a lot more people, and really the bulk of the agent team. I think only the leader of the agent team and his van didn't get sucked in, as well as I don't think Monica Rambeau did. She may have. I don't think it showed. But it's good to see that this show is getting places, and I'm certainly looking forward to seeing what happens next. I think there's 3 episodes left. I think there's gonna be 9 episodes, or there might be 8. I read that there was 9 somewhere. I'm wondering if the next episode is gonna still be in the same sitcom format, as I think it would kind of make sense if the next episode is more of a traditional storytelling approach, as it seems like we've kind of the plot is happening now. This is kind of what we've been building up to. We'll see. Obviously, it's just an idea. I'm kind of curious as to what they're going to do next week with it. Anyways, a quick recap. I thought the episode was great, and it's one of the best of the series, possibly the best. It has the usual MCU touch to it, so it's hard to complain on anything like acting. As with the MCU, everything's usually fine, or at least, on par with what you would expect. I didn't have a lot of complaints for this episode. My only one major one was at times it doesn't feel like it's an actual TV show, rather than it feels like kind of like 30 minutes pulled from a story then put into a TV show format, if that makes sense. It feels like if you took a movie and then you just took the first 30 minutes off and made it episode 1, and then you did that to create a TV series rather than crafting an actual TV show. And for me, that's been kind of an issue with kind of the episode formatting. Really, since the first episode, it's gotten better over time, as once again they've incorporating more plot lines, and the show feels more formatted, and it feels like there's a beginning, middle, and end to each episode. Like the newest episode is probably the most structured of all of the episodes so far, even though I still think there's that's something they could improve on. And other than that, I don't really have any complaints. Most of my early on complaints, like the humor and the show kind of being like slow moving, have mostly been solved, and the show's gotten better on those. All right, and that will do it for my review of episode 6 of WandaVision. I'm looking forward to next week's episode, as the show's getting more and more intense each week. So I'm certainly excited to see where it goes next. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's a big help. Anyways, thanks for watching and have a great day.